Good morning, everybody. My name is Rolando Mia, and this is Zyrus. Welcome to Dr. Thomas Tips on Tuesdays at 10. So, this series is the purpose of this series is to share tips on utilizing Isolite for those of you who have had it and those of you who just recently got it. Today's tip is covering the issue of lights and lighting. We've gotten a lot of questions, and if you look at it, there's a lighting component on the Isolite, and people have been asking us questions about how or tips on using that. So, good morning, Dr. Hirsch. How are you?
Good morning, Rolando. I'm good. Happy Father's Day a couple of days ago, and happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there, and for all of the
Same to you.
women dentists, happy Father's Day to your men.
So, what tips would you give our viewers and people watching this later on around lights and the things that you got to consider when you're using it with the Isolite?
Rolando, I love the question. Hey, everybody. Lighting is probably one of the key elements of dentistry. If you can't see it, you can't do it. So I'll talk about me and my experience. For me, I could never have enough light in the mouth. I want to be able to see what I'm doing. That way I can just facilitate doing better dentistry. So we have to discuss with lighting, with all of our options. We have the overhead light. We have our headlights. We have, for those of you, we have the Isolite. So for me, there's never enough light, especially when your batteries are dead. There we go. There's never enough light inside the mouth. So I've got my headlight, I got my Isolite, I got the overhead light. Do I need all these things? Yes, I personally do need all these things. I've got my overhead light shining in the from outside. I've got the Isolite shining from inside, and I've got this. So I'm using all these things, A, to eliminate shadows. B, if I eliminate one, if I turn off the light, that one, and I get rid of that, okay, I've still got the overhead light, I've got the Isolite inside the mouth, and that's really good. Most of us today have loops, and most of us have lipes. But it's awfully nice to come in the operatory and really not have to put on your loop someday and not have to strap this thing on and put it down and adjust your light right there. It's really nice not to have to do that. So when I have the Isolite, I stick it in the mouth and I can see, and I have total shadowless illumination there. Another thing that's important is when I'm not I've got my vision and I've got my overhead light, but my assistant does it. So this is really nice to have a light right just like that that's illuminating the mouth from the inside out. So your assistant can see if she's retracting tissue. For the EFTA assistants, if they're doing composites, stuff like that, it's nice to have that light. One of the nice features about lights, and especially nowadays with all of our light sensitive materials, is just how they're all photoactive and how sensitive are they to the lights. Some of these things are so sensitive that I have to turn off every room light. I have to make sure that I have shades. I have you can see the window behind me. I have to make sure the shade is down so that we're filtering the light comes in, because these things are really photosensitive. So granted, on our headlights like this, we have the amber filter. So now that's filtered out. On our overhead lights, we have the amber filter to filter out the light. And also on the Isolite, we have the amber filter to make this thing look more, let's see, show better, to filter out the lights. Some of the clinicians have said, golly, even with that amber filter on, I still get composite. Well, here, let's take a look at this. Little flowable composite goes on my fingernail right there, like that. And I'll take the Isolite like this, and it doesn't take too long, a few seconds. Now it's still wet, but give that 5 seconds like that, 3, 4, 5, 6 seconds. And that stuff sets hard as can be. And so now it's just a globby, it's a mess in that aspect. If I have the amber filter on and do that, it will not set whatsoever. So I can put this right on the end here. And I can leave that on the end all day long. You can see a little blob sticking out.
Dr. Tom, people have told me that even with the amber light, it's still curing the composite. What tips do you have around that?
Well, you know what, bro? It is, but it's not coming from the Isolite and the amber light. It's coming from your overhead light. It's coming from your operatory lights. It's coming from your windows. I mean, all this ambient light comes in and just starts everything to set. So amber light and the Isolite won't set.
So basically, if you're using that amber light, make sure you're also shutting off all the other lights because it doesn't keep that out of there.
Yeah.
Correct? Awesome.
The last thing that we want to do is we're bonding something or mixing up cement. I've been there, and hopefully none of you have been there, and I'm the only fool that's done this, where we're putting cement in the restoration. We go to put it down, and dang, it just doesn't go down because it's already started to set. I mean, that just ruins the day. It really does.
Cool. So from a you mentioned curing. What tips would you give people with regard to the Isolite and then curing lights? What considerations?
Okay, so the Isolite is not a curing light. It's not meant to cure composite. It does set the composite, but it doesn't cure the composite. So your curing light, when you utilize that, you have to make sure that you're curing as you're supposed to cure with the recommendations of the manufacturer. But don't expect this to be a curing light. What you can expect this to do, if you take the head off the Isolite, is you can't expect this thing to be a Transilluminator.
Oh, wow.
So take the head off of this thing, and this will shine as a great Transilluminator. So if you don't have a Transilluminator at all, this is a good substitute for a Transilluminator. It shines right through the tooth. And you've got access on this particular one. I'll get this really close. The LED is right there. I'm not going to blind you, but that will shine right through the molars. You can really see the cracks in the teeth. It works really super. So I do this all the time because I don't have a special Transilluminator.
So that's cool. So so first of all, tip number one, it's helpful for your assistant to see because a lot of times they don't have their overhead light.
Right.
Number two, if I understand correctly, the more light, the better, because it gives you the ability to basically treat better and you see things.
Well, and you know what? Hang on, I'm going to comment to that one too. The older we get, the poorer our eye and our vision gets. So hey, I'm up there, man. I'm not the 20-year-old and I'm not the 30-year-old. I'm not the 40-year-old and I'm not the 50-year-old and I'm not even the 60-year-old. I got news for you. So I'm way over there on the right-hand side of the page as far as vision goes.
So the more light, the better, because it enables you to do that. Tip number 3 or 4 is, if you're using the amber light, make sure you, shut down everything else.
Get everything else off. That way you've got as much time as you can need to work with your composites.
Awesome. And then I didn't know this. The white light will set your composites, resins, that type of stuff, but it will not cure it, correct? So you can use that. That's something. Cure it.
Yep.
Right. And then the last one that you said had to do with the whole issue of transillumination, pulling off the tip and utilizing the brightness of that. Now, you got different levels. Just put it as bright as you can, and then you can use that to see what's inside.
If it's too bright, you can change it down a level. I will start at the lowest level, and that's usually plenty. But if you need more power, need more light, flick it up. You've got that ability. Because there's 3 on this particular thing. There's just 3 levels of illumination. Turn it on. There's 1, 2, 3. It's pretty bright.
Right. Awesome. So, what tips would you give people who are sitting back and they're looking to add more systems, but they're struggling between light or no light? What final tip would you like to give regarding that?
As I said before, I always want to have all the light that I can possibly have. I want to have light for my assistant. I want to have lights for my hygienist. More light just gives us better dentistry. So if it falls within your budget, I would certainly say get the one with the light. If it's outside of your budget, then don't kill yourself over. Don't put yourself in a hole. I mean, get the one without the light. It's less expensive, but the light is a nice thing to have.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Hirsch. Really appreciate that. I liked, there are a couple things I learned there that I didn't know. So that was awesome. Those of you, if you have any questions for us, or if you have, if you need additional tips for things that you're doing with the Isolite, please let us know. If you like this information, share it. If you have questions for us or Dr. Hirsch, send them to us. We're happy to answer those. And Love it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a great week, and we'll see you all next Tuesday at 10 with Dr. Tom.
Next Tuesday at 10, Tom's Tips. Talk to
All
everybody.
right.
Have a great day.
Appreciate it. Have a great week.